Just clearing the throat because this first name is a biggie. One tall drink of water. Virginia Elizabeth Geena Davis. Geena Davis is an artist of grand quality and great achievement. She is hilarious in person. She is delightful at a distance, and even better up close. Did you know she is an Olympic-level athlete? Literally, an Olympic-level quality athlete and archer. She is as sure-eyed and masterly of the bow and arrow as is the goddess hunter Diana herself. In other words, do not cross Geena Davis. She has entertained, thrilled, and made millions of moviegoers fall in love with her, just as she has worked for the enlightenment of our society, supporting causes worthy and necessary, most specifically for tonight and for the next 300 years, perhaps, her groundbreaking efforts to bring about awareness of gender bias in order to halt such bias. Who then better to kick off her being honored with the Jean Hersholt Award than a white guy who's been on the cover of the AARP magazine? Back in 1992, Geena and about 600 other women and one guy starred in a film focused directly on gender bias. It was A League of Their Own, directed by the late, great Penny Marshall. Geena's character was called Dottie Hinson, Dottie, and she was playing baseball for an all-women's baseball league during the Second World War. Dottie had to contend with the vastly unequal position of women at the time, and perhaps even worse, Dottie had to contend with the actor who played her reluctant male manager, Jimmy Dugan. Now, the first time Jimmy Dugan speaks directly to Dottie, Geena's character, 54 minutes of the film has gone by. Dottie is in the third base coaching box, and she's sending signals to the lineup, the Rockford Peaches, as they come up to bat. And she is asked about her strategy and abilities by her male manager, Jimmy Dugan, with this line: "Hey, what are you, stupid?" Now, that particular line might have been about baseball, but it was certainly filtered through the topic of gender bias. Dottie was signaling the Peaches to her best hitter to squeeze bunt when clearly she should have been telling her to swing away. Now, was Dottie Hinson giving the wrong signal because she didn't know baseball? Or was Dottie giving the wrong signal because as a girl, there is no way she could have known baseball? Now, throughout the film, Dottie Hinson makes her presence and power and her strength known, her confidence, her self-awareness, her humor, and yes, her baseball prowess, very much like Geena herself. The baseball prowess, of course, being the punchline to that joke. She's an archer, ladies and gentlemen, of Olympic quality. Virginia Elizabeth Davis has an abundance of the very best qualities any human being can share with others. Throughout her career, she's chosen roles that show women as complex characters in control of their own destiny. Thelma and Louise, for crying out loud. Her ethics, her principles, her sense of what is right and what is wrong, as demonstrated in all of her work, led maybe to her turning the same sort of focus that she gives to her bow and arrow and her artistic choices onto a social imperative, which is to change the landscape of media to reflect an accurate, gender-balanced, diverse portrayal of society. After all, numbers do not lie. The world is peopled with the exact same ratio as women to men. It's 50-50. So why isn't the media the same? Now, Geena posits that question, and Geena wants an answer. Geena, and Geena, what Geena wants, Geena gets. The Jean Hersholt Humanitarian Award is given to, quote, an individual in the motion picture arts and sciences whose humanitarian efforts have brought credit to the industry. So is there a better example of that than creating an entire organization dedicated to providing young girls with examples of women on screen who are smart, who are resilient, who are hardworking, who are inspiring, who are instinctively talented, and who are actually played by women who are employed in the business of show. Now, not to mansplain Geena's commitment to gender equality. And by that, I mean when a man articulates specifically and in less confusing language how males can sometimes, make themselves the expert in a certain topic. As a grandfather of 3 little girls who, given a fair shake, thanks to Geena Davis, will follow their natural inclinations to make the world a better place for all of humankind as they grow up, I thank Geena for her work on their behalf. And I join with the governors and all the rest of the Academy of Motion Pictures, Arts, and Sciences in celebrating and honoring her with tonight's Jean Hersholt Award. Ladies and gentlemen, let's look at the glorious work of one of the finest human beings I've ever had the pleasure to know, work with, and live not too close away from. The choices that are demonstrated by one Virginia Elizabeth Geena Davis.